Okay, so you and I talked last week for a first consultation. How long have you been battling kind of this eating disorder, body and image obsession, binge eating, exercise obsession with weight loss? How long has this been?
About 20 years.
About 20 years, and it's just gotten really bad, right?
Yes.
Prior to scheduling this appointment, would you say you were probably at the lowest you've ever been in terms of binging and feeling bad and feeling like there's no hope?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely the
So
lowest.
we left our consultation with you are to accept. Remember, we talked about the risk of accepting the body as it is versus and the freedom, the cost, right, of freedom. That's the cost to have freedom, to have food without shame and guilt, to have freedom to eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so tell me how it's been eating freely without shame and guilt over the last few days.
It's freeing. It's been great because it's like something was lifted off me, and I was telling my husband, I'm like, I would rather eat this than have these crazy thoughts ever again. And I didn't even care. I normally, when I get up, I usually put on my jeans and critique how they fit, and that's going to set the mood for the day. And yesterday I put them on and I didn't even care. I was like, you know what? I got them on, and if they didn't fit, I was going to put another pair on. And
how's that feel for the first time in over 20 years to not care? And when I say not care, I'm saying that it doesn't affect you negatively, to where it is what it is, and it's like you're not going to let it affect your mood, how you feel, and how you live moving forward.
I put my focus towards what I was going to do for the day, and I didn't even think about it. I didn't stop and look at the mirror. I just went about the list that I had of things to do, and I completed them, and I ate when I was hungry and what I wanted.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, so you gave yourself freedom to eat candy, cookies, cakes, pasta, bread. I mean, right, you're eating foods that you binge on normally, correct? Have no control over normally.
Absolutely, yes.
Tell me, was it hard to not overeat?
Not really.
Are you surprised by that? Are you surprised by how little impulse you had to binge?
Actually, I was. I thought I would, overdose on something, but it was just I got to a point. I'm like, okay, that last bite wasn't as good as the bite before, and it's like something said, you need to stop, and I'm like, oh, okay, so.
And before you would have just eaten it out of, I failed, I suck, it tastes so good, I'll fix this later. Yeah, it would have been a nightmare of a mind game, right? And then you would have had all this guilt, and you would have had to fix it today, right? But instead, what did you start your day with today? You were just saying. For the first time in years, you allowed what? French toast.
French toast, yes.
And how did you feel like you had to binge? Did you feel like the gluten in the bread made you crave more?
No, not at all. I was really surprised at how satisfied I was. And I made 2 pieces. I was like, well, I'll start here, and if I want more, I can make more. I only ate like a piece and a half and a banana, and I was like,
so you didn't even finish the 2 pieces of bread. So would you say that your hunger naturally went away and your cravings did too?
Somehow it did.
Okay.
It was crazy looking back now to realize that, but at the time it was just like, it just felt natural not to eat it. Just by changing the way that I was thinking and had thought about food and binging and how I was going to correct this the next day. When I took the dieting component and how I looked at food out of the equation, it just felt different.
Okay, so would you say in comparison to how you've been living the last 20 years to now, that how you feel about food is abruptly different?
It's totally different. I'm not afraid of something.
Does this take hard work? Is this hard?
No. That's what is crazy to me about it. I thought this would be so difficult and I could never do it because prior to talking with you, I would get in these ruts and I would just like circle and circle, and I just couldn't get out. But then talking with you, something just clicked, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? Well, not me. It's the things that I was believing.
Yeah, well, the body image system. Do you see that now that you had put all of your eggs in looking good? The pressure that your body had to lose weight was humongous, because not only did your body need to look good for you to feel like life was good, but you needed to lose weight to feel like you were a good person. You needed to lose weight to feel like you were valuable. You needed to lose weight to feel safe from people judging you. I mean, consider how much pressure you had to lose weight just to feel good about today.
Yeah, it was a lot of stress that I was putting on myself for no reason.
Now, would you say because of that pressure to lose weight that you also had equal pressure to be perfect with food and to starve, literally to eat such a small amount? Like you couldn't eat, you had to eat on a specific regimen, you couldn't eat certain foods, that the pressure to lose weight for those emotional reasons and spiritual reasons, right, put an equal amount of pressure on you needing to starve.
Yes, which just put me back into that crazy cycle.
Okay, so how do you think that affected your impulses to eat and binge?
Because I wasn't eating what I wanted, I was depriving myself, which was causing me to want those things.
Yes, and then if you wanted those things, you felt bad about yourself.
Yes.
So then you would have this shame-induced binge because you realize, I failed, I suck, I can't eat these foods, right? Can you see now how vulnerable you were to food mongering?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because they would tell you the food is making you eat it. It's a narcotic. It makes your brain overactive in pleasure. That's why you're binging on it. Can you see how delusional that thought is? When it's way more complex than that.
Mm-hmm. Like you said before, it's food religion, and you get so wrapped up in believing it, and that it's true, and that what they say is true, and that, you know, they throw these facts out there, and this is, you know, proof, and then it's just ludicrous.
Now that you've had this experiment with removing the need to lose weight, which means you accept the body as it is right now, correct? Right? Because you have to go there to even access this freedom. And that was, don't you agree, the most surprising part? It's like all of a sudden when you truly accept the body as it is, as if you've been given a disease, right? Like you lost your legs. Like it's a permanent physical thing. Once you accept it, would you have ever thought that this psychological freedom from the food issues would be so quickly resolved? I mean, you would have, that would be the consequence.
I never would have thought it would have been this easy, but going through the steps, it is. It was, yesterday I worked out in the morning, and I went to the basement, and we have a bowling mirror, and I looked, and I didn't judge my body. I was like, I like it. And I was like, you know, poking more, I got a little, you know, a little cushion, and I'm like,
so what?
This has gotten me so far.
Yeah, to where you could exercise right and not expect the body to change.
Yes.
So did that change your exercise? You should notice that exercise for you isn't about burning calories. It's not about anything physical in terms of visible looks. It should have nothing to do with the way you look.
It had nothing. No, it didn't. I didn't. You know, before I would, you know, go and spend like an hour doing this or that, and I just went down there and did a few things. I'm like, all right, I'm done.
How's that feel? How does that feel? That's a whole nother conversation. Most of the people I work with and do these YouTube videos with have eating disorders. They're functioning adults with binge eating and diet eating issues. But I also work with people who have exercise addiction as well. So how does it feel to just be able to go work out a little bit and not have the pressure to go to exhaustion and to do so many pull-ups or so many push-ups or so much stuff that you're literally, you know, mutilating the body through exercise? How's that feel?
You know, it felt good because I wasn't overthinking it. I just went down there. It was kind of like eating. I ate, and then I stopped when I was done, and it was I went down there and I exercised and I did some squats and I'm like, okay, I feel good. I don't think if I do any more, I'm probably gonna hurt myself and
be done. So how does it feel to have a complete separation too from exercise and food? Because normally you would have said, well, I have to burn off what I ate the other day. I've got to be able to eat more. If I want to eat something later today, I got to do more exercise. How does it feel not to have any of that bullshit too?
It's like clearing my head of all this fog. It's not so much that I feel anything. It's just that it's not there nagging at me.
No, so
that was a relief to not have that like thing in the back of my head just like gnawing at me, like, well, you got to watch out what you eat, or you got to go work out. Or I just was like gone.
So tell me this: would you say that you had a psychological illness, literally caused from the need to lose weight to feel better about yourself?
Yes, I would have definitely said that.
Okay, so now, how quickly did that mental illness go away?
Probably under 48 hours.
Of course. Yeah, a lot of people say it happened pretty much immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You know that during our conversation, you probably noticed that you felt different.
Oh, I did. And then I actually pushed myself on Saturday. Oh, well, let's have a couple more cookies. And then I just felt like, oh, yeah. It wasn't like a binge where I've binged and I can eat meat, and I don't feel it. But when I ate a couple, it was literally 2 cookies more than what I should have. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, notice how quickly your body responds if there's no shame and guilt and feelings of failure.
Yeah,
and there's no sense of deprivation, right? Because that's the other part. You're not ever going to deprive cookies again. So all of a sudden you're eating these cookies and the body is communicating so much more effectively because you're listening, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So would you say that your body and brain and would you at this point believe that you're a sugar addict?
No, not at all.
Did you think you were before?
Oh, yes, I was convinced, without a doubt.
And so it's not that you're uneducated and haven't seen all the research about sugar and how addicting it is and gluten and how bad it is for you, right? It's not like you've never seen it. You've read it, you've heard it, you watched it, you believed it, you wholeheartedly committed to those beliefs, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And would you say that those beliefs made your issues worse?
Yes.
Yeah.
They just exaggerated it.
So would you say that when you started researching sugar addiction, that you started binging more on sugar than you ever did before?
Yes.
Would you say it's because they believe that you should eliminate all sugar from your diet?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you see how that creates the propensity to binge?
Because you want it and you're saying no, but it's like, why? I just want one piece, and then you have the one piece and it's like a whole bag later you're like, oh.
Yeah, and now you have the pressure to lose the weight, right? Because wouldn't you agree that a lot of those binges were because you felt like you were going to get fat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you felt too you needed to remove it, is because you felt like it was the cause of your fat gain. So, anyways. Is this as complicated as you thought?
No, not at all.
Is it much easier than you ever would have anticipated?
Completely, yeah. I never would have thought changing something so simple. And it's crazy to think just how I was last week and how I felt, and my husband's concern for my well-being, and to where I am now. It's like, can't believe you're just eating what you want, and you're not freaking out.
And you're not binging.
No. And he doesn't, because he kind of fell into the food mongering thing. He eats whatever he wants, but he would say, well, I don't know if we should have this because of whatever. And now he doesn't say anything. He's like, eat it if that's what you want. I'm like, okay.
Do you know how pleased I am over here? Do you realize I have this permagrin?
Oh, I don't know. I'm happy, and what am I?
Well, we're still going. There's still some stuff to learn, but the hardest part is over. How does that feel?
It's freeing. I'm not under handcuffs or shackles anymore. I can go and do things and meet with friends, and I'm not limited to the house.
So what would happen if I said to you, you know what? Why don't we do the same thing, but let's get rid of anything with let's just get rid of gluten.
No.
How would you feel about that?
Like a little bit of panic. I'm like, no, I don't want to get rid of that.
Would you just say, I'm not going to do it, Robin?
Yeah, I'm not. No, I won't.
Good for you. Good for you. What if I said, okay, we're going to do like a 30-day cleanse. We're going to do a liver cleanse. No. So it's not for weight loss. It's for the liver. And we want you to follow this program for a month. Would you do it?
No, I say, fuck it. I can't do it. No.
Let me see. What if your husband bought you tickets to Hawaii and you guys are going in a month? Tell me, how would you be tempted to diet?
No, not at all.
What would get you back into dieting or trying to lose weight? Although you did you read through the notes that you took last time? You should have signed a contract saying, I will allow the body to gain 50 pounds before I step back into dieting.
Correct. I'm looking at it right now. I can't even think of something that would cause me to want to go back into that mentality.
What about your health? I mean, seriously?
Oh.
Doesn't that crack you up?
Yeah,
Isn't that just messed up? Because it's like, what about your health? You shouldn't be doing this for your health. You should not be dieting for your health. Because you know what? Health begins in the brain.
That is what's making things bad. I see that now.
Has your world literally flipped around?
Completely.
No, I know. It's unbelievable. And you know what? I'll tell you, not everybody flips so quick because they truly believe, but I hate myself. I need to lose weight. They just cannot grasp, right? This idea that they have to. Would you agree for you to have this complete flip, right? And to access this miraculous healing? Don't you agree? It required you accept the body without conditions.
Absolutely.
That you accept the flaws that you used to hate as good enough.
Yep.
Right? Could you have been able to do this without releasing the pressure for your body to lose weight?
No, I couldn't have done that. No.
Now, do you see before that the entire insanity was based on the fact that you had decided that weight loss was the access to heaven in life? That being healthy was what makes you valuable and precious and nice and cool and that, right? Do you see how messed up that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I do. And that's not who I am. That's not the soul in me. That's just this vessel that I'm in. It's,
It's not even yours.
No, it's the bus that I'm on until, I'm not.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to say to anybody listening?
If you're struggling, call Robin, because I've struggled for 20 years, and everything that I tried to do on my own did not work. But you just talk common sense and things that make sense. And for whatever reason, I couldn't figure that out on my own. So
yeah, because how long were you watching my videos? For like a year?
Yeah. And I would watch repeated times. I would watch more than once. And just like, why am I not getting this? What am I missing? And it was just, I think, talking with you and communicating and being on the same page as you. And
don't you think it takes you having a genuinely going through where I'm guiding you? Because you let me guide you. You let me take you through and ask questions. And I would ask, if you never answered it, I'd say, okay, I'm going to ask it again. I need you to actually think about this. Mm-hmm. Do you remember me saying that?
Yes,
I can tell when people skip over, and you're skipping over some essential things that you need to think about to get to the next place. So in our conversation, I literally just had to take you step by step. And if you skipped a step, I'd go back and I'd say, I'm going to ask it again. This time I want you to actually think about it as if it's real and true. And then you'd have to go through it. Those are things, if you're watching videos, you're not necessarily engaged. You're hearing someone else's engagement. Someone's going to listen to this video and go, well, that's her. She must not have it so bad. She must not have such a bad body. She must be like, only a few pounds overweight. She has no idea what my issues are and how awful this feels to me. Right?
Yeah.
Can you see? Because that's probably some of the thoughts that you had.
Yeah. I'm like, well, whatever. She's probably, healthy and all this.
Yeah. And she's not a real sugar addict.
Yeah. I think of when you asked me about, when you first asked me about if I, had cancer or lost my legs, it would be okay, to gain weight. And I'm like, panic. I'm like, no, I couldn't gain 50 pounds. Are you crazy? And then by the end of the conversation, I was like,
I asked the same exact question.
Would rather gain 50 pounds, 75, whatever, and have my peace of mind and not
freedom,
constantly thinking about this
and
living my life.
Now you have that. The moment you made that decision, can you see that choice was a choice that you made? Mm-hmm. That you changed positions and went, oh my gosh, I don't want to go back. But you had to change positions. The only way to change that position was to go into the permanence of the body fat, to accept gaining more weight. If you can't do that, there's no way you can heal this.
No.
Do you see that now? That is the pivotal cornerstone that has to happen for someone to free themselves from ever dieting again and to give them the grace to eat to hunger now. So now you actually have an accurate sense of hunger. Before, it was completely inaccurate because there's all this bias, right? So now you're very accurate, and now you can see the body communicates very clearly. Before, you couldn't have understood that.
Yep. Totally missed the signals.
Of course you're going to miss the signals. Can't you see why now?
Yeah. So.
Because you're playing a game with the signals. Right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So that is what happened in that first conversation. We had 90 minutes, and there's the first 45 minutes and the second 45 minutes. And the shift happened the moment you were you seriously said, what if it were true and I had to be fat the rest of my life? And you went into that and you allowed it to take over your consciousness.
And I still believe that. I'd rather be fat than crazy.
Well, once you went through that, right? Once you allowed your thoughts to take it serious, you were exposed to something you probably never thought would happen.
No,
What were you exposed to the moment you accepted being fat? What did you get in that moment?
It's like a weight was lifted. I didn't have the fear of having to go on a diet.
That is the freedom. It's the suffering and the pain of having to perfect your food and deprive your food and to be locked in a cage until you're thin. That's what you got. Would you have ever thought that you could have gotten that from accepting a fat body?
No. I was hopeful.
No.
On your videos.
Well, you're hopeful, but you don't realize that that's the way out, right? Because that's what's causing you all this pain. You think, oh, well, that's why I'm in so much pain. I cannot be fat. This fat is causing my life so much damage. Who would think that by accepting that as what it is forever, that's the route out of the pain?
It was thought.
Right? That's where people get really whacked out. You can hear all this, but you have to truly go into the acceptance and separation from the body, the complete separation from what the body's supposed to give you and what you're supposed to give the body. You have to completely separate the two. Once you've separated the two, this is where we talked about now you have to take responsibility. Now it's your responsibility to be happy. So you can't blame the body anymore. And you can't blame your diet anymore. And you can't rely on exercise anymore. If you're going to be happy, you need to make those decisions. You need to do it for yourself. It's no one else's responsibility. Right? So you couldn't even get that until you separated from the body.
Yeah. Once you do that, it's like, okay, this is kind of easy now.
Yeah, how many times have I said this is not rocket science?
Hundreds. Videos. Hundreds.
It feels like impossible though, prior to. Doesn't it feel like impossible? Like there's no hope. You're doomed till you die.
Yeah, I would have rather died
than to be back.
Deal with this. Now it's like, oh, yeah, I'm glad I'm not feeling those things anymore.
And is it hard to not feel that way?
Oh, it's not. It's like, it's not even lingering in the background.
It's like divorce, right? It's like saying I'm done. It's over.
Yeah.
Poof, gone. So, yeah. So at this point, your goal is to continue to actually learn the body and just love it and do as it guides you, right? To continue to learn how to eat with the body's messaging. That way, do you see now why eating to hunger is truly key as well? Because it gives you freedom from having to manage anything.
Yeah, it's got its own agenda and it's going to let you know.
Of course, and if you just have to be honest, right? You just have to tell yourself the truth. Am I hungry? If the answer is no, you have to actually go just sit there and wait until you're hungry. It's like just take responsibility. Don't go into these I need impulses that the diet industry literally enables you to go into. Do you see that now?
I see it, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. I'm going to stop recording this because I feel like there's a lot of good stuff. So, okay. Thanks for letting me share.